forget that gender is a thing. You were just going about life and then you were like, damn, these human people are really preoccupied with gender. I forgot that was even a thing. Hello lovely humans, welcome to this space on the internet. I'm Elle and here's 10 signs that you might be non-binary. So I just want to preface this video by saying that there's like obviously no way that I or anyone else can tell you or just know that you're non-binary. That's something you have to figure it out on your own. And another thing to note is that these are just some signs. So even if you are non-binary, you might not relate to any of them. And that does not mean anything really. But I'm making this video in the hopes that I can help someone, maybe a few people out there, on their identity journey, whether that be one that is bound to the binary or not. One more thing is that a lot of these signs may or may not apply to binary trans people or even cis people. For cis people, I would think that there would just be some different reasons behind the manifestations. Let's get into the video. Sign number one, and I'd say probably one of the most definitive signs, you clicked on this video. You are watching me in this video. You're consuming this content. That ain't cis. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, if you are scouring the internet for validation of your suspicions that you may be non-binary, you may be non-binary. Sign number two, you have been in the past or continue to be or are very particular about the way you look, or though you may not be aware of it, your gender expression. So like, I think of myself for example, even as a kid I was very particular about what I wanted to wear. Just being very particular about what clothes you put on your body, how you do your hair. Just being very aware of it and how you express your gender is one sign that it may fall outside of the binary. Sign number three. This isn't one that I have noticed in myself, but I've heard from other non-binary people, is that when you're in a group of people that are of your assigned gender at birth, you feel like a little bit different, or like you're not really in on this situation. You might feel a bit like an alien looking in on this gendered group. So for example, if this were me and I was exhibiting this sort of sign, I might be in a group of girls and feeling like, girls are awesome, but I feel a little weird. I'm not the same as you. I know that that does not mean that I am superior. It just means I am non-binary. Sign number four, you like the idea of body alterations. This one might feel a little bit controversial, I don't know, but body alterations meaning things like tattoos, piercings, hair, dye, and even like less permanent or less substantial things like wearing platforms to make you taller or having really tight pants to like cinch your waist in a little bit, you know, that sort of thing. This one I think largely comes from a place of like dysphoria. So if you are very preoccupied with different body alterations, could be a sign that you might be non-binary. Sign number five, you like when you get misgendered, or if you're the type of person that presents similarly to how many people of your assigned gender at birth present, then you like the idea of being misgendered even if you're not very often or at all. So this would be like if I'm in someone's way and they're like, oh excuse me Mr. Don't know who would say that, I'm 5'4", but let's say they did and that was something I like. That could be because I'm an Enby. Sign number six, you get sort of obsessed with certain people and how they look and their appearances. This could be people like celebrities, like a movie or book character, even like your friends or like someone at your school or at your job. You just become very fixated on how they exist in space, like their aesthetic, how they... and you're very preoccupied with that and think about it a lot. This would be a sign of something like gender envy, because you maybe want to look like them, or like looking at them makes you be like, damn, I feel more me. Which doesn't make a lot of sense, but if it does make sense to you, got something to tell you, buddy. I think a lot of people who later find out that they're non-binary will mistake this as like having an aesthetic crush on someone or just liking someone romantically, for example, when really it's just they want to be them, not that they want to be with them. Sign number seven. you have had a sort of fixation on the idea of genderlessness, particularly as a kid. Like if you encountered any form of like queer presenting people, or I remember reading a book when I was little that had like a genderless character in it, and this wasn't because they were necessarily non-binary or the author was aiming for non-binary representation, it was just like they were like a spirit or something. But I became like very fixated on that character. I just like couldn't get the idea out of my brain. I was like, genderlessness. And I think that often happens in childhood because when you're little and you see queer people around, you might be like, whoa, I've never seen that before. And a lot of kids would either shake it off or be like, ew, weird, because, you know, ingrained homophobia. But if you were the kind of kid that was like, interesting, then that could be a sign that you are non-binary, or at least gender non-conforming in some way or another. Sign number 8. That's 8. At some point in your life, particularly pubescent or post-pubescent life, you've had some form of mental health struggle. This could be things like depression, anxiety, poor self-image, poor body image, things like eating disorders or obsessive-compulsive disorder. Those types of mental health struggles, I believe, I'm not researched, but I'm pretty sure it's just a generally known fact, quite correlated with being gender non-conforming or trans, which is why they're a good sign that you might be non-binary if they come along with several other signs. Sometimes symptoms that look like these different disorders, or even are these different disorders, the very root cause can be a form of dysphoria or just general unhappiness with how you are presenting, how you are, and you may not know at one point or another that that's because of your gender identity, but it might be. Sign number 9. You forget that gender is a thing. You were just going about life and then you were like, damn, these human people are really preoccupied with gender. I forgot that was even a thing. That one sort of speaks for itself, I think. And finally, sign number 10. In general, you just feel like a bit of a weirdo. You're not vibing with this whole human person thing. And maybe you don't know why, but there are a lot of different reasons that you might be feeling like an alien, like an outsider, like a bit of a weirdo. Like you're not really vibing with human constructs that are unrelated to gender identity. But I think typically non-binaries are very likely to feel this way. That was 10 signs that you might be non-binary. So if you want to hear more signs, comment and I will make a part 2. If you have any other signs and you want me to make a part 2, you can comment those signs and maybe they'll be put in the video. I hope you enjoyed your stay at this internet hotel. Subscribe